He didn't even look back the day he yelled, "I don't need you." Lena stood frozen, one hand on her stomach, realizing she had just been erased from the life of the man she loved. She walked away silently, choosing dignity over tears. Ethan Cole, the ruthless CEO, thought he had ended a mistake. He didn't know he had ended everything that could have saved him. 5 years later, a hospital hallway echoed with urgent footsteps. A critical condition, a dying mother, and 3 little boys, Aiden, Leo, and Zane, holding hands, scared. Waiting. Ethan rushed inside after a sudden emergency call, only to stop cold. 3 identical faces, 3 boys staring straight at him, same eyes, same jawline, same fear. Triplets, his sons, the sons he never knew existed, and Lena, fighting for her life behind a hospital door. This reunion would rewrite everything he believed. Ethan Cole never answered unknown numbers. CEOs didn't have time for random calls, especially not at 2:14 a.m., but something about the continuous buzzing, the vibration that refused to stop, felt wrong, like the universe was trying to grab him by the throat. He finally picked up. A shaky male voice spoke fast, panicked. "Mr. Cole, this is St. Mercy Hospital. We need you to come immediately. It's urgent." "It's about the call." Cut. Ethan froze. About what? About who? He didn't have anyone. No one close. No one left. He slipped on his coat, grabbed his keys, and practically ran to the elevator, heart hammering in a way he didn't understand. His life was built on certainty, control, logic. But tonight felt like a crack in the system. The hospital was colder than usual. The lights too white, the smell too sharp. Something inside him twisted. He walked to the reception desk with quick, tense steps. "I got a call," he said, voice tight. "Someone from this hospital asked me to come." Immediately, the receptionist glanced at the screen, then looked up at him with a strange softness, almost pity. "Room 308. And, sir, you should prepare yourself." Prepare himself. For what? He pushed through the heavy doors and stepped into the hallway, only to stop dead in his tracks. 3 small boys sat on a bench. 3, not 1, not 2. 3. Same hair, same eyes, same face structure, like 3 copies made from one photograph. Triplets. They were huddled close, knees touching, hands linked tightly like they were afraid to let go. The fluorescent lights reflected on their tear-wet cheeks. When they looked up at him, the world shifted, because those eyes, those storm gray piercing eyes, they were his. Exactly his. The smallest boy blinked. "Mommy didn't wake up," he whispered. The second boy wiped his nose. "Mommy said a man would come tonight." The third boy stood up slowly, staring straight at Ethan with a courage too big for his tiny frame. "You're him, aren't you?" Ethan's breath left his lungs like someone punched him. He stared at them, speechless, unable to form a single word. His throat closed. His pulse crashed. His heart tried to claw its way out of his chest, because the last time he saw those eyes in someone else's face, it was 5 years ago. When he yelled at her, when he told her he didn't need her, when she walked away pregnant-tanned, he didn't stop her. His fingers trembled. "Your mother is." The brave one. Zane nodded with a tiny, heartbreaking firmness. "They took her inside. She's not breathing right." We heard them say critical. Critical? The word hit him like a hammer. He took a step forward, knees threatening to buckle. "Where's the doctor?" he asked, voice rough. A door opened. Dr. Noah Reed stepped out, pulling off gloves, his expression heavy. "You're Ethan Cole." Ethan nodded stiffly. The doctor exhaled. "You need to come with me." Instead, Ethan pointed at the boys, his voice cracking despite him trying to control it. Who are they?" The doctor gave him a look that said, "You already know. They're Lena Hart's sons," he said quietly. Ethan felt the floor tilt. "And based on the DNA records filed with her emergency forms, they are biologically yours." The hallway spun. His chest tightened. He held the wall, breath shaking. 3 sons. He had 3 sons. Triplets. His triplets. His blood. His life. The doctor touched his shoulder. "Mr. Cole, this isn't the time to fall apart. She's fighting for her life." Lena, the name sliced through him. He saw a flash in his mind, her standing in the rain that night, her trembling voice, her hand on her stomach, and his voice cruel, loud, final. "I don't need you." He swallowed hard. Will she make it?" Dr. Reed didn't answer immediately. He just looked at him with tired, honest eyes. "She's losing a lot of blood. Her heart rate is unstable. We're trying everything." A beat, a breath, and then she asked for you. Ethan froze. "For me?" "Yes," right before she collapsed. The doctor's jaw tightened. "She whispered your name." Everything inside Ethan cracked open. He took a step toward the surgery doors. But Zane's tiny hand grabbed his suit jacket. "Don't leave us," he said, voice shaking. Aiden clung to Ethan's leg. Leo pressed into his side, eyes wide with fear. 3 little boys. 3 sons. His sons. He slowly knelt down to their level, something breaking inside him as he placed a trembling hand on their heads. "I'm not going anywhere," he whispered. "Not ever again." The doctor opened the door. "Come, she doesn't have much time." Ethan stood, heart thundering, and walked into the blinding white lights of the surgical room, unaware that the next 10 minutes would rewrite every choice he ever made, and determine whether he would meet his son's mother again. The surgical lights were unbearably bright. Ethan stepped inside, and the sounds hit him, first machines beeping at erratic rhythms, nurses shouting orders, metal trays clattering, the smell of antiseptic mixed with something metallic, something terrifyingly familiar. Lena's blood. She lay on the table, pale still, her long dark hair matted with sweat. Tubes and wires ran from her body like she was being held together by threads. Her lips were bluish, her breathing shallow, her chest rose only because the ventilator forced it to. Ethan felt like someone had wrapped a fist around his heart and squeezed. This wasn't the girl. He yelled at. This wasn't the girl who left quietly without asking for anything. This wasn't the girl he once broke. This was a woman who had carried triplets alone, who had raised them alone, who was now dying alone. Dr. Reed's voice snapped through the silence. "Her blood pressure is collapsing. She has internal hemorrhaging." He looked at Ethan with something like anger and pity mixed together. "She held on this long because she wanted you to know the truth." Ethan's throat tightened. "What truth?" "She didn't leave because she wanted to," the doctor said quietly. "She left because she heard you say you didn't need her. She didn't want to trap you with a pregnancy." The words hit him like a metal bat. He staggered back, gripping the edge of a counter. "Trap you?" She thought she was trapping him. She walked away with his children because she thought that was what he wanted. He wanted to scream, to break something, to rip apart the version of himself who once believed power meant never apologizing. "Can she hear me?" Ethan whispered. "Potentially. We can't promise anything." Ethan walked to the side of the table, his legs shaking. He gently touched her hand. It was cold. "Too cold, Lena," he whispered, voice breaking. "It's me." No movement. He swallowed hard. "I know I don't deserve it, but please, don't leave me, don't leave them." A machine beeped sharply, and a nurse shouted, heart rate dropping. The room exploded into motion. Dr. Reed barked orders. Nurses moved around like a storm. Ethan stepped back, helpless, watching them fight for her life. He felt a hand on his arm. The brave triplet Zane had slipped inside. The other 2 followed quietly, tears streaming down their faces. "Is Mommy dying?" Zane asked, voice trembling but brave. Ethan knelt quickly, pulling all 3 into his arms, his voice shaking uncontrollably. "No, she's fighting. Your mom is strong. So strong." Leo wiped his tears with his small fist. "She always gets up. Always." But Aiden, the quiet one, whispered the words that shattered Ethan completely. "She said, you'd come for us?" Ethan closed his eyes. He couldn't breathe. She believed in him, even after everything. She believed he'd come. She still trusted him, even when he never deserved it. A nurse turned sharply. "They can't be in here." Ethan stood straight. "They stay with me." The authority in his voice froze the room. Dr. Reed hesitated. Then he nodded. "Fine, but keep them to the side." The triplets held Ethan's hands tightly as the medical team worked on Lena. Starting compressions. Blood pressure still crashing. "Prepare for crash cart." A monitor shrieked. "Flatline." The triplets gasped. Leo burst into sobs. Aiden hid behind Ethan's leg. Zane's face crumpled. Brave Fakade gone. "Mommy," he yelled. Ethan's heart split open. He couldn't lose her. Not like this. Not right after learning the truth. Not after seeing his sons for the first time. He stepped forward. "Let me talk to her," he said, voice raw, urgent. Dr. Reed frowned. "Mr. Cole, this is not let me try." Ethan roared. Silence. "Then, give him 10 seconds, the doctor said quietly. Ethan stepped beside Lena's still body. Machines flatlined. Nurses stood frozen. Time felt suspended. He leaned over her ear. "Lena," he whispered, voice broken, shaking, desperate. "I was wrong. I was stupid. I was cruel. I pushed you away because I was scared. I didn't deserve you." His breath hitched. "But our boys, they need you." He felt his voice crack completely. "I need you." He placed his hand over hers, squeezing gently. Come back, please. Come back to us. You're not allowed to leave. Not now. Not ever. For a full second, nothing. Then beep. The monitor twitched. Beep beep. Heart rhythm returning. Weak, but their nurses gasped. Dr. Reed snapped back into action. We've got a pulse. Restart stabilization protocol. Get another unit of blood. Keep her heart steady. The triplets cried, this time out of hope. Ethan sagged backward, covering his mouth, tears burning his eyes. Dr. Reed touched his shoulder. She heard you. Ethan looked at Lena's still form and whispered, thank you. But the battle wasn't over. Not even close. Dr. Reed turned serious. She's stable for now, but the next few hours are critical. She might need you even more than the boys do. Ethan nodded slowly. I'm not leaving this hospital, he said, not for a second. He walked the triplets back to the hall, but they clung to him harder than before. Leo sniffed. Are you really staying? Ethan knelt again, cupping their faces gently. I'll stay forever if you want me, he said, voice shaking with a promise he meant for the first time in his life. Zane whispered, we waited for you. Ethan pulled all three into his arms, hugging them tightly, tears finally spilling. I'm here now, he breathed, and I'm never walking away again. He didn't notice the nurse approaching behind him, or the folder in her hand, or the sentence she was about to say that would blow open another secret, one Lena never got the chance to tell him, and one that could change everything again. The hallway outside the surgery room felt too quiet, like the world was holding its breath. The triplets stayed glued to Ethan, one on each side, the third clinging to his sleeve, like he was afraid Ethan might disappear if he blinked. A nurse approached slowly, clutching a thick folder to her chest. Her expression was conflicted, nervous, hesitant, almost guilty. She glanced at the boys first, then at Ethan. Mr. Cole. She said softly, we need to talk. Ethan straightened, jaw tight. If this is about Lena, it's not just about her. The nurse interrupted gently. There's something you need to know. Something she meant to tell you, but never got the chance. Ethan's stomach clenched. Aiden buried his face in Ethan's coat. Leo grabbed Ethan's wrist. Zane lifted his chin, trying to be brave even though his eyes were shining. What is it? Ethan asked, voice low, controlled, but laced with fear. The nurse took a deep breath and opened the folder. Inside were papers, dozens of them, medical records, blood tests, ultrasound reports, emergency notes, but one page was highlighted in red. She held it out. Ethan took it, hands trembling. He scanned the page, his eyes widening, his pulse thundering. Then he froze. The world stopped, because the page didn't say triplets. It said something else, something impossible. Quadruplet pregnancy complication. Patient lost baby D at 10 weeks. Ethan's vision blurred, his breath hitched. He felt the floor sway beneath him. What is this? He whispered. The nurse swallowed. Lena was pregnant with 4 babies, Mr. Cole, not 3. The triplets looked up sharply. Zane whispered, 4. Leo blinked fast. We had another brother. Aiden squeezed Ethan's hand, tiny fingers trembling. Ethan felt heat rise to his eyes. A tear hit the page. He didn't even know when it fell. Yes, the nurse said quietly. One of the babies didn't survive early in the pregnancy. Lena didn't tell anyone, not even her family. She carried the grief alone. Ethan pressed a hand over his mouth, voice cracking. She went through all that, by herself. The nurse nodded, eyes softening with empathy. She had no partner, no support, no financial help. She worked double shifts while pregnant with 3 surviving babies. She fainted twice at work, refused to take leave, and kept saying she had no one to rely on. A dagger twisted inside Ethan's chest. No one to rely on, because he pushed her away. He felt sick. The nurse hesitated before continuing. She loved them fiercely, all 4 of them. She used to sit in the NICU and talk to the son she lost, apologizing for not being able to save him. She blamed herself, her voice cracked, but it was never her fault. Leo started crying. Zane's lips trembled. Aiden silently hugged Ethan's leg. Ethan knelt and pulled all 3 close, pressing his forehead against theirs. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I wasn't there for your mom, or for any of you, but I will be now, I promise. The boys clung to him, their small bodies shaking with grief and confusion. The nurse wiped her eyes. There's more, Mr. Cole. Ethan looked up, exhausted, raw. What else? She handed him another document. A legal file. He read the title. Land went cold. Emergency guardianship transfer. Subject, Ethan Cole. He stared, stunned. The nurse explained. Before collapsing, Lena signed this. She wanted you to become the boy's guardian if anything happened to her. Ethan's hands shook violently. She trusted me, he whispered. The nurse nodded. She believed you deserved the chance to know them, and she believed they deserved their father. Ethan felt something inside him shatter into a million pieces. Guilt, love, regret, fear, hope, all of it crashed at once. Before he could speak, small footsteps echoed down the hallway. A man in a suit approached, a sharp-faced, cold-eyed man with a thin smile that didn't reach his eyes. Ethan Cole, he asked. Ethan stood, tense. Yes. Who are you? The man flashed a legal badge. David Langford, family court representative. The triplets shrank back, instinctively gripping Ethan harder. David continued, voice clipped and official. I'm here because Lena, Hart's estranged sister, filed a complaint requesting immediate custody of the children due to the mother's critical condition. Ethan's heart dropped. Custody. Another twist, another threat. Her sister, Ethan said cautiously. Lena never mentioned siblings. Half-sister, the officer corrected coldly. They haven't spoken in years, but she's demanding the children be placed with her, effective immediately. Zane stepped forward angrily. We're not going with her. Leo shook his head violently. No, we stay with mommy. Aiden hid behind Ethan, terrified. David continued, unmoved. The court can remove the children until the mother is stable. Unless he paused, eyeing Ethan with calculating interest. A biological father steps forward to claim responsibility. Ethan clenched his fists. I am their father. David raised an eyebrow. Legally speaking, you've never acknowledged them. That complicates things. The triplets panicked. Aiden sobbed. Leo grabbed Ethan's suit. Zane looked ready to fight. Ethan took a single step forward, voice low, dangerous, absolute. Take one more step, and you will have to go through me. David blinked, momentarily shaken. Then Ethan held up the legal file. Lena signed. Lena chose me. She wrote my name, my responsibility, my guardianship. The officer froze. And I will protect my sons, Ethan said, voice like steel, even if I have to fight every court in the country. The triplets looked up at him with wide, hopeful eyes. David opened his mouth to argue, but suddenly, an alarm blared behind them. Ethan whipped around. It was coming from Lena's room. Machines screaming, nurses rushing, code blue lights flashing. Dr. Reed ran past them, shouting, she's crashing again. Move! The triplets screamed. Mommy! Ethan grabbed their hands and ran after the doctor, heart pounding, breath shattered, fear twisting violently inside him, because this time, he wasn't sure if Lena would come back, and he couldn't survive losing her again. Ethan froze as he stepped into the pediatric ICU room. 3 identical little boys sat on the bed, same curly hair, same dimpled cheeks, same bright hazel eyes. His eyes. Lily was standing beside them, her hand gently brushing one boy's forehead as a nurse adjusted his foreline. When she turned, her eyes met Ethan's, and for the first time in years, there was no anger, only exhaustion and fear. Lily, they're mine. Ethan's voice cracked, almost a whisper. All 3, she replied softly. Triplets. I didn't know I was expecting them until after I left, and when I found out, you had already pushed me out of your life. Ethan swallowed hard. His chest tightened until he could barely breathe. All the years he wasted, all the moments he wasn't there. A doctor entered, glancing at Lily. We need to discuss the surgery options. One of your sons, Noah, has a congenital heart issue. We need the consent of both parents. Ethan stumbled forward before Lily could speak. I'm here, he said, voice steadying. Tell me what he needs. I'll do anything. The doctor nodded and stepped out. Silence filled the room. Ethan moved slowly toward the bed. One of the boys looked up at him, clutching a stuffed toy to his chest. You were the man shouting at me that day, Lily whispered. The man who told me you didn't need me. Ethan's eyes filled. And I was the biggest fool alive. I don't need you. Lily, I needed you more than air. I just didn't know how to say it. The smallest boyno opened his eyes weakly and reached out. His tiny hand wrapped around Ethan's finger. That was the moment Ethan broke. Completely. Tears streamed down his face as he leaned in. I'm your dad, he whispered. And I'm not leaving again. Not ever. Lily watched him, her own tears falling. For the first time, she saw something she once believed was impossibly fun, choosing their family. Ethan looked at her, voice trembling. Give me one chance to fix everything, to be the father they deserve, and the man you needed me to be. Lily hesitated. Years of hurt sat between them, but so did 3 precious boys who needed both their parents, and a hospital room filled with pain, but also the possibility of healing. She slowly nodded. One chance. Ethan, don't break it. Ethan took her hand gently. I won't. Outside the room, the doctor waited with surgical papers. A future full of uncertainty awaited them, but for the first time in years, they would face it together. If this story touched your heart, then don't leave yet because the real journey begins now. Ethan thought he had lost everything the day he yelled, I don't need you. But fate proved him wrong in the most heartbreaking way. A hospital room, 3 identical boys, and a mother who carried years of pain, all waiting for one man to finally understand what love truly means. Will Ethan prove he has changed? Will Lily trust him again? And most importantly, will little Noah survive the surgery that could determine their entire family's future? If you want to see how this emotional reunion turns into a story of redemption, forgiveness, and second chances, then like this video, subscribe, and stay till the end. A new chapter starts now. Don't miss what happens next.